Honda India Power Products Limited. Payment of dividend of 16.50 rupees. Anzan India Energy Yield Plus Trust. To declare distribution. 25/5. The 2nd of June 2023. Indorama Synthetics. India Limited. AGM. The 27th of July 2023. Reliance Chemotex Industries Limited. To recommend dividend. 26/5. Granules India Limited. Record date for payment of final dividend. The 3rd of August 2023. Titch Industries Limited. Recommend final dividend. 27/5. Dabria Polywood Limited. Recommendation of dividend. 25/5. Big Block Construction Limited. Recommendation of final dividend. 24/5. Zydus Wellness Limited. Recommended final dividend of 5 rupees. The 21st of July 2023. Devyani International Limited. AGM. The 3rd of July 2023. Jubilant Food Works Limited. Recommended dividend of 1.20 rupees. Safari Industries. India Limited. To recommend final dividend. 9/8. The 14th of July 2023. The Anup Engineering Limited. Recommended dividend of 15 rupees. Sterlite Technologies Limited. Recommendation of final dividend of 1 rupees. Paradeep Phosphates Limited. Recommended dividend of 0.50 rupees. SKF India Limited. Recommend final dividend of 40 rupees. The 29th of June 2023. Zodiac Clothing Co Limited. To consider dividend. 30/5. Hitachi Corporation Limited. Recommended payment of dividend of 1 rupees. Electra Steel Castings Limited. Recommended dividend of 0.90 rupees. TPL Plastech Limited. To recommend dividend. 26/5. Polycham Limited. Approved payment of dividend of 20 rupees. Shivlik Bimetal Controls Limited. Recommended dividend of 0.70 rupees. Perfect Pack Limited. Recommended dividend of 1 rupees. Power Mech Projects Limited. To recommend final dividend. 26/5. GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals Limited. Recommended dividend of 32 rupees. Time Technoplast Limited. To consider dividend. 29/5. Thermax Limited. Recommend dividend of 10 rupees. The 21st of July 2023. Marathon Nextvision Realty Limited. Recommendation of dividend. 24/5. Whirlpool of India Limited. Recommended final dividend of 5 rupees. Acnet Industries Limited. Recommended payment of dividend of 1.50 rupees. Vaibhav Global Limited. AGM and dividend. Harsha Engineers International Limited. To consider dividend. 25/5. India Glycols Limited. Recommendation of dividend. 24/5. Avantal Limited. Payment of final dividend of 1 rupees. The 16th of June 2023. Endurance Technologies Limited. Recommended dividend of 7 rupees. Siram Silk Mills Limited. AGM and payment of dividend of 4 rupees. Jindal Saw Limited. AGM and payment of dividend. JSW Energy Limited. Recommending dividend. 23/5. BDH Industries Limited. Recommended dividend of 4 rupees. Forgings Limited. Payment of interim dividend of 6 rupees. The 29th of May 2023. Shri Digvijay Cement Co Limited. Record date for dividend, the 21st of June 2023. Mufin Green Finance Limited. Proposal for issuance of bonus shares, 25/5. Havels India Limited. AGM and dividend of 4.50 rupees. Sandhar Manganese and Iron Ores Limited. Recommended final dividend of 5 rupees. Vedanta Limited. To consider first interim dividend for FY24, the 30th of May 2023. Nico Parks and Resorts Limited. Recommendation of final dividend, 29/5. Jindal Stainless Limited. Recommendation of payment of dividend of 1.50 rupees. Timken India Limited. Recommended dividend of 1.50 rupees. CCL Products, India Limited. Recommended final dividend of 2.50 rupees. Hasta Biosciences Limited. Recommended dividend of 8 rupees. Naha Capital and Financial Services Limited. To consider dividend, 30/5. Hiranba Industries Limited. To consider final dividend, 30/5. Naha Polyfilms Limited. To consider dividend, 30/5. NACL Industries Limited. To recommend final dividend, 22/5. Voltamp Transformers Limited. To recommend dividend, 25/5. Sagasoft, India Limited. To recommend dividend, 24/5. Lotus Eye Hospital and Institute Limited. To recommend final dividend, 24/5. Naha Spinning Mills Limited. To consider dividend, 30/5. Bayer Croptions Limited. To consider final dividend, 24/5. Cheviot Co Limited. To recommend dividend, 25/5. Marksons Pharma Limited. To consider dividend, 30/5. Bharat Dynamics Limited. To consider final dividend, 25/5. Bengal Tea and Fabrics Limited. To recommend dividend, 25/5. Faircom Organics Limited. To consider dividend, 30/5. Panama Petrochem Limited. To recommend final dividend, 30/5. Action Construction Equipment Limited. To consider dividend on equity shares, 30/5. Cupid Limited. To recommend final dividend, 27/5. ITD Cementation India Limited. To recommend dividend, 25/5. Iron Exchange, India Limited. To recommend dividend, 26/5. Atlas Cycles, Haryana Limited. To consider final dividend, 24/5. DISA India Limited. To recommend final dividend, 25/5. Carousel Limited. To consider final dividend, 25/5. Thirumale Chemicals Limited. Recommended dividend of Rs 1.50. Sada Energy and Minerals Limited. To recommend dividend, 27/5. To consider subdivision of equity shares from 10 rupees. Deepak Fertilizers and Petrochemicals Corporation Limited. Recommended dividend of 10 rupees. Virat Industries Limited. To recommend final dividend, 25/5. ABM Knowledgeware Limited. To consider final dividend, 26/5. Z Entertainment Enterprises Limited. To recommend payment of equity dividend, 25/5. Ucal Fuel Systems Limited. To consider dividend, 29/5. Permanent Magnets Limited. Recommended dividend of 1.50 rupees. Ashapura Minichum Limited. To consider dividend. 25/5. Global Spirits Limited. To consider dividend. 25/5. Ansell Housing Limited. To recommend dividend. 29/5. Mahindra and Mahindra Limited. To consider dividend. 26/5. Astra Microwave Products Limited. To recommend dividend. 26/5. Savita Oil Technologies Limited. To consider final dividend on equity shares. 26/5. Explia Solutions Limited. To consider dividend. 25/5. Greenlam Industries Limited. To consider dividend. 27/5. Zenith Fibers Limited. To consider dividend. 24/5. Specialty Restaurants Limited. To recommend dividend. 29/5. Sat Industries Limited. To recommend final dividend on equity shares. 25/5. Hindware Home Innovation Limited. To recommend dividend on equity shares. 24/5. Shilpa Medicare Limited. To recommend dividend. 25/5. Oracle Enterprises Limited. To consider dividend on equity shares. 30/5. 63 Moons Technologies Limited. To consider dividend. 16/5. Rupa and Company Limited. To recommend dividend. 24/5. Devashakti Limited. To recommend final dividend. 26/5. Liha Footwears Limited. To recommend final dividend. 23/5. India Cements Limited. To consider payment of dividend. 24/5. Krishna Diagnostics Limited. To recommend final dividend. 27/5. Bodhi Tree Multimedia Limited. Rights issue. Honeywell Automation India Limited. Recommended dividend of 95 rupees. Sarkumar Exports Limited. To consider dividend. 25/5. Shri Hari Chemicals Export Limited. To recommend dividend. 25/5. Gokaldus Exports Limited. To recommend final dividend. 25/5. Titagar Wagons Limited. To declare dividend. 24/5. JIC Housing Finance Limited. Recommended dividend of 4.50 rupees. SMS Pharmaceuticals Limited. To consider dividend. 24/5. NCL Industries Limited. To consider final dividend. 26/5. Sabros Limited. To recommend dividend. 25/5. Venus Pipes and Tubes Limited. To recommend final dividend. 24/5. Thanks for watching. Please thumbs up if you like. Subscribe. Press the bell icon and never miss an update. Share and comment your thoughts on the comment section. And stay tuned with Corporate Actions India.